What is up, guys, and welcome back to Induction Noise. And today we're back at a workshop, back with the Supra, and as you can see, it's got a spot on the lift today. So that means only one thing, and that's we're going to be doing brakes. Now, in the previous episode, you might have seen us fumble around with the brakes and play around with the brakes and have like weird, odd size discs, and we couldn't really figure it out. What we didn't realize while recording that is our audio stopped working. So a lot of the explanation of what we were doing wasn't in the video. So what happened is someone took the front left wheel's caliper and gave it a different carrier, which in turn brought it closer to the hub, and that obviously made them run a smaller disc. Weird that it worked, and it looked like someone drove like that for a while. But we decided we've got the discs from Neil's 350Z that he had nice discs made by Club 23, and they put that on for him. We've got his stock discs from his 350Z, and then this week I found these, which is brakes from a W220 Mercedes S500, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, they are Brembo brakes, proper 4-pot Brembo brakes, and supposedly these should be bolt-on. Now when I say bolt-on, they say you need a bit of spacers just to center the caliper to the disc, but apparently it is basically bolt-on. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be giving this a little bit of a scuff and spray just so that they look a bit nicer. We had a bit of a debate in the group about what color they should be, but we couldn't find any specific colors, so I went for the Brembo red because that's all I could get in a high temperature spray paint. So just for now I'm gonna be spraying them with a red coat of spray and then start fitting them to see if we can make them fit, which according to the internet should work quite easily, but sometimes that's not the case, as we saw with the cam belt. Just the update on that, I'll show you that now, but we've got a water pump in, we've got a cam belt in. I didn't record that because I thought, well, you saw me struggling enough with it previously, and who wants to see me fiddling in that motor with basically no knowledge of doing it, but it's fine. So we're going to be doing the front brakes today. We won't probably be able to do the rear brakes just because we've still got one seized caliper at the left back. What I would like to do is to see, since they ran a rear disc in the front left, if we can't maybe run the front stock calipers in the rear. I doubt it because I'm guessing we're gonna need that specific caliper bracket, but hey, it's worth a shot, so we'll try that out. Let me quickly show you in the engine bay how it's looking after the cam belt job and what I had to do there. Then let's start prepping the caliper for paint. Most important part when spraying anything is obviously we want to seal everything off that we don't want spray to get into, and we want to prep the surface we're spraying on as well as possible. So I've brought some brake cleaner, I'm gonna scuff it properly, I'm gonna give it a multiple cleans, and then we're going to start giving coats, and while that's drying we'll then start with the rest of the upgrade. But yeah, let's jump into this and let me show you the motor quickly, and we'll quickly jump into the rest of the episode. So there's I don't know if you can see it, but there's an inspection cover there, so at least I didn't have to take everything off again. I just had to give the tensioner, which is just behind this inspection cover, a little bit of free play again, turn the exhaust cam a bit counterclockwise to give slack here and take up the slack that was there, and then with that loose, the spring obviously pulled over the tensioner and I could torque it down again. So yeah, that's all sorted now. We hold in coolant, we'll put in proper coolant today, and let's sort out these brakes. So I'm gonna start with covering what I don't want dirty, what I don't want sprayed, and start scuffing the brakes and getting the old paint off so that we can start laying some coats of paint. And then once we have the first coat on there, we'll remove the brakes, well, we'll remove the wheels and then start cleaning the hub and all that type of stuff and adding copper grease, and then give it a second layer of paint, get the discs on, and then hopefully by that time we should have a dry enough caliper to start laying some paint. That's the theory. Let's see if it works out like that. If you're wondering how to get these pins out that holds your calipers in, what I was doing is I was using a pop rivet because it's small enough to go through without hurting the caliper, and that seems to have worked quite nicely. So now that that's off, I'm gonna start cleaning up the calipers, start scuffing them down and get them ready for first layer of paint. One caliper done. Look at me, I'm a mess. But yeah, there's one done. It's obviously not completely bare metal or so, but this should be enough for good paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this up, and I'm going to give it, wipe it down with some alcohol, and then we'll start spraying it. Let's spray the second one and get these hanging quickly. Alright, so the boring part is now over. It's been a bit more than 2 hours, basically an hour per caliper cleaning it properly. But that's the name of the game with paint. You want something to be properly clean before you paint it. So it's not expensive spray we're using. I know it's not Rust-Oleum or whatever. I've just pushed the car that was standing here to the side, pushed everything to the sides, and I'm gonna lay the first layer on the calipers. I've coated up everything, I've covered up everything here in the middle so that it doesn't get into the pistons. I've got a random bolt, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's random bolts here just to close up any holes that's there. And yeah, I'm gonna start light coat, and then we can start going on with getting the dust shield off and getting the disc on, and then come back to another coat and we should be good to go. So let's give it a light coat and see how it looks. Alright, that's one coat done. So I'm gonna let it dry a bit, give it some proper time, start getting the wheels off the car and start cutting the dust shield away. But yeah, that's first coat done. It's not perfect, but it does the job. It looks quite cool. So let's start getting the dust shield off and let us get the discs on so long. So we're making progress, not fast, but it's gonna be worth it at the end. Cool. So while the paint is drying, let's get the wheel off and see what we need to do to get the dust cover off. I can't wait to get other wheels. These stuff are heavy. Jeez. Cool. That's off. Let's put this to the side. That has the entire dust shield loose now. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to try and save this and take the hub off nicely or whatever. I'm just going to find some tin snips or grinder, grind it off, take it off completely. So catch up with you guys in a bit once I've done that. That sucked to get off. I couldn't really get the grinder in there, so eventually I used bolt cutters. So yeah, that was fun. I'm gonna do the other side and then we'll clean up the hub, and once I've got the other side up and start cleaning up the hub, I'll pick you guys up again. I just want to get the other side off, not bore you with the snipping and twisting and swearing and all that type of stuff that it took to get this thing off. So let me get the other side off, then we start cleaning up the hub. And just as we start cleaning up the hub, I think we can probably go give the calipers another coat. The second one off, so both sides are now off. And before we start cleaning that up, I think it's a good time to give the calipers a second coat, which means once we have the calipers, once we have the discs on and everything cleaned up, the calipers should be dry enough to touch and also start putting up. So look at them, they're looking freaking awesome. I mean, it's not a professional job, but I mean, if I do say so myself, it's not looking too bad. So let me put you guys down here again, and let's do the second coat of paint. That's about all she wrote regarding calipers. Let's let them dry now for the last time and get to clean the hub. So we want to clean the hub because I mean, you need to take care and kind of service anything there. So you will see it's quite crusty back here. So what we're going to do is just going to put some brake cleaner on and on here. Just give it a bit of a brush, and then we will put some of this copper compound on so that the disc doesn't seize to the hub here. So once again, a bit of the boring part, and then we can put the the disc on. Sorry, it's been quite a long day. Okay, I hope you guys don't fall on my head, but let's get this clean. One clean hub with a little bit of the load on. So I'm going to once again do the other side, which I don't think you want to see it twice, and then I'll join you guys back on this side where we will finally fit the disc. I found a stud. It's not Andre. There was a box of, well, I've known of the box of bolts and stuff, but while I was looking for this in the car, I saw, but hang on a minute, this rusty bolt looks like it's a stud. So we've got 5 studs again. Anyways, let us get the copper grease on here. So this is just so that the disc doesn't seize to the hub if we replace them in how long ever. This stuff is nasty, I don't like it. So I bought this, just a cheap paintbrush, because I don't want to get this on my fingers or whatever. Just going to smear this along here, and ooh, that might be a bit thick, but don't worry, a bit thick won't kill anyone. Actually a nice shade of gold. This might be a cool color for some future wheels. I know Andre is a fan of gold. He wanted gold calipers, and it would have kind of been fitting since the discs that we put on here comes off Neil's Z, and Neil actually has gold calipers. So, but one day. So yeah, so I know it probably looks like mechanics will probably be like proper mechanics that know what they're doing will probably be like, oh, you put it on too much, but I honestly don't see how it could hurt. So yeah, that's looking good. We know that one sees there. So now let me just close this. So here we've got our first disc, gratefully sponsored by Neil from his 350. So you'll see it's the exact same PCB. I've cleaned it a little bit. I've given it some brake cleaner all around it. So now we can just fit it on here. And let's see how she looks. There we go. I'm just going to put a nut on here so that it holds the disc tight. Or, well, so that the disc doesn't fall off, basically. And then we can go grab the caliper and start putting on the calipers, which is where the real fun is going to start, but the real challenges, because we're going to need to make sure that the caliper is nicely centered. We've got brand new pads for it as well, so it's going to be tricky, but let's go grab one of the calipers and start fitting it on here. I kind of look like a mess. You can see the calipers has gotten dirty again from me handling them, and we'll wash them, don't worry about that. But here's my issue I had. According to the forms, according to the forms, I needed a specific new bolt for this because it needs to be a bit longer and it's got a different thread pitch. See this is what the fastener place gave me, and that doesn't work. So I thought, okay, let me check the old ones, which it looks and then stops. Okay, so that also doesn't work. So we're kind of screwed because it's 5 o'clock on a Saturday and there's no fastener place open currently. And the only bolt I can find in the workshop is this. That seems to work, which, I mean, there's no other way of saying it. It's a wheel stud. It's literally a wheel stud, but it's the only bloody bolt that I could find that screws in and would go all the way in here. So I'm gonna have a little bit more of a look to see if I can't find anything else maybe that fits, but otherwise what we might do is we might just put the pads in, just seat them where they need to be, etc., and then press fit over the caliper. Press fit it over the disc, and then we at least get to see how they look. So it's been a long day. I look wrecked. So let's see what I can come up with, and we take it from there. Unfortunately, it would seem like my luck is out, and I can't find anything that fits. I'll take this as a sample bolt and just get the length that the interwebs setup must get. But just to end off the video on a positive, what I'm gonna do is put in the pads. Now, you're not supposed to do it this way around. You first need to get it on the car, then put in pads, whatever. But small victories. So I'm gonna get myself a small victory by just fitting in the new pads at least, and we at least accomplished something not too bad today. So let's hit the time lapse for a final time, get pads in here, and then fit it on the discs and see how it looks. We've got the pads in both of them. Let's see if we can at least mock them up, even though we're not going to be able to properly mount it today. Let's see if we can mock it up, and you guys will at least kind of get the idea of how they're going to look. I think it's going to look awesome. I've dirtied them up quite a bit. Down the line we'll probably do a proper respray again, but this should get us going. Check this out. It looks epic. Check that. They super dirty, but it looks so epic. Like, I'm just making it worse. So, a few things. It's got bolts in there just to keep it in, but what's predominantly keeping it there is the caliper. So I can see it's literally aligning there perfect. It's aligning at the back perfect, but I'm not sure why, but it's getting stuck. I had a look here. I know there's the video of, what's his name? I can't believe I forgot his name now. But he said you need to cut the little ear parts off the calipers, but they are clearing. It's almost like the caliper is a bit too big. Sorry, the rotor, the disc is a bit too big. This side looks a little bit better. Check that. So this side is a little bit better, but it still gets there. It gets caught, and it sounds like it's getting caught up there. So I'm not too sure, but I think for now I'm gonna leave it there. I need to go do some research. I need to go sort out some hardware that I need for this to install it properly, and then we can move to the back and see what we're gonna do for the back. But yeah, until then guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please share the videos if you do like them, and we'll see you next time. Stay classy, San Diego.